Hello world, how are you? We have some Q&A to do. I hope you're doing fine, 'cause it's Q&A time again. Hello world, how's it going? Hope you guys are all doing great. And as always, if not, I hope it gets better for you. Welcome to another Friday Night Live Q&A where you can ask me questions and this awesome community questions on keeping freshwater aquarium fish, shrimp, and plants. Looks like everybody's dragging in slow here. Only 3 of you in here, 11 of you. That's crazy. That's crazy. But to all you guys, hello, hello, hello. I see you guys in here. Glad to see you guys now starting to roll in. Man, that was a slow rolling, slower than usual. What's up, YouTube? Glad to see y'all in here. Hello, hello, hello. Lots of awesome people. J-Rat Iron Man says, did you have a good birthday? So on my birthday, I pretty much spent the whole time building on that pond and moving those large rocks, and I got all those moved. So I would say yes, I had a good birthday because I got all that done and really made some huge steps on that pond here this last week. Just drank some Coke. But yes, for the most part, it was a good birthday. I mean, Father's Day, it was a grind. I wore myself down to the bone, that was for sure. And barely got my mini excavator back to the store and had to they charged me a little extra. But I got all the rocks moved, which I'm happy about. I did kind of mess up on my land bridge, which I'll have to fix, but can't wait to show you guys all what's going on out there. I'm really happy with it. Total Tropicals TV says, Australia checking in, Mr. Placo. Oh man, that's a classic. And if you guys haven't heard Mr. Placo, I definitely recommend you type in Mr. Placo, where the funk you at? It'll be worth your while. If you like fish, it'll be worth your while. Paul adds life. I would say it adds caffeine, which definitely helps right now. Urban Fisherman, I'm actually just getting back from a graduation party. Shout out to my niece, Abby. Congratulations on graduating. We just got back, hour and a half drive. Urban Fisherman says, when are your plants going to be back in stock, LOL? So here, probably either later tonight or probably tomorrow, I'll update that. I had to kind of slow things down a little bit. But about ready to get back into speed here. Fish Mafia says, Lucas, you need to have a duo with Neil Diamond for your live Q&A song intro. Oh my God. Well, thank you, Pam. And Ted K, my brother, thank you for throwing down the $5 super chat with the support again. I appreciate you, Ted. Says, greetings from Cape Cod, camping trip, peace, my brother. Ooh, awesome. Man, it's been forever since I've been camping. I'm a little jealous right there, Ted. Enjoy that nature, enjoy that peace. Thank you so much for the support. Patrick Dalton says, Lucas, I just set my first tech planted tank. What's more likely to cause green string algae? CO2, excess light, or excess nutrients? Definitely excess nutrients when you have excess of string hair algae. So if you're doing fertilizers, maybe half your dose or half the time of your dose. So if you do it every day, do it every other day. If you do it every other day, maybe do it every 3 days. Or just cut your dosage. Maybe do half doses more often, more frequently. Just play around with it. I mean, that's how it goes with those high-tech planted tanks, is a lot of fiddling, trying to get used to what your biomasses of plants in your aquarium is going to consume and how much of it. Like, it will change over time depending on what kind of plants you have in there. So if you have more fast growers getting bigger, they're going to start eating more, and you got to kind of take that in effect. So if you do have it dialed in, understand that and know it. But once those plants start growing up, keep in mind that you may need to up that, or if you do a trim, maintenance trim, you may want to lower it. So I hope that helps you. Kima Flacco Melendez says, how are the shrimp? The shrimp are doing good. I mean, I don't know why everybody's sleeping on these oranges and yellows. Like, those things are on fire. You won't find orange and yellow shrimp like these anywhere, but everybody seems to be sleeping on those. The fire reds are taking a rest, just getting numbers back up. And blue dreams, I think there's some still in stock. The coal shrimp, for some reason, have been really hard for me to pick out of, because I've been getting some really cool shrimp out of them, and I kind of want to get them mass produced a little more before I start selling them again. Those coal shrimp are actually pretty popular, which I don't blame it, because you get like the whole skriddle color combinations, and sometimes you end up with shrimp that you would not even expect. Like, you'll end up with green shrimp, blue-green shrimp. It's crazy. And it's kind of weird. I have learned from breeding different colors of shrimp together, it does follow the color wheel quite a bit. And holy moly, here we go. JBase616 throwing down the 10 pounds, says, love the channel, great job. Well, thank you, JBase. I appreciate the support, brother. Thank you, thank you. And I am planning on getting more content to you guys here. Since I don't have the mini excavator now, I can hop on, do live streams more with you guys. I can do more editing for you guys and actually get some more videos cranking out again. It's just, when I was on that rental, time was money, and it cost me a lot more than I expected. But I'm happy about it, and you guys will see all that coming up. Muddy Waters, my brother, throwing down $35.95 super chats, always with them numbers. Says, greetings all, let's all go camping, stay groovy. Oh, for sure. Wouldn't that be awesome to have a big old powwow with a bunch of fish fam camping? That might be something to do. But yes, stay groovy, my brother. Thank you so much, Muddy Waters, once again, for the amazing support. Glad to hear your pearl weed's doing great, Patrick. How's the pond coming, bro? LRB Aquatics, says Danikin Aquatics. Go see you in here. It's going, it's getting there. Still lots of work to do. I am having a little problem with some hydrostatic pressure from the groundwater on the bottom. So I'm trying to wrap my head around that right now. But there's water in it. Actually, if there's a little light, I'll give you guys a little peeky poo at it. Why not? Considering it's still going to be a while till I get any of these videos going. Oh yeah, it's still too dark. You guys might be able to see something. Might be able to make something out. There's water in there. It's really hard to tell. It's all on that edge. So I got to pump that out, land bridge, all that. Meow, and a cat. There's always a cat. Meow. Yeah, hi. But, yeah, that's kind of a small peek since it's dark out there. I could have flashed a light on it. But I do got this cool rock bridge going. I was really happy how these big rocks set over the first stream. You can actually walk over it, and it's just rocks on a bridge. And it'll funnel the water right into the middle, which will look really cool. Keithan Main 72, thank you so much for the super chat. Throwing down to $5. Says, finally caught a live stream. You are the man. Love all you do. Well, thank you, Keith. You are the man for the support. I appreciate you. And man, that's a beautiful picture of a clown loach you got there on your profile pic. Very nice. And thank you, thank you, thank you. Ty Horton, thank you for the $20 super chat. Holy cow. Says, hey Lucas, you've inspired me to start trying to breed some fish for profit. if you're going to rebuild your fish room, what is the one thing you do differently? Biggest regret. So my biggest regret would probably be the fact that I didn't get into a more dynamic water change system, because I am left here doing a lot of manual changes, which actually, if you have the time, is preferred in my methods. But what I would do is I'd set it to where it's more like a automatic water change system every now and then. That's about my biggest regret for just, I mean, when I built this fish room, I was in total collectoritis mode, no stop. Just like build, 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 need a tank here, need a tank there. I just kept coming around cool fish and ended up building it without putting the proper systems in place as far as maintenance wise. So I pay for that now, which actually this year, especially this winter coming up, we'll be working on a lot of that stuff, hopefully, to where I'm kind of changing that. Since I'm not going to the island now, I'm going to focus all that energy towards rebuilding this place and making it even more awesome. And signed up with custom aquariums as well, so I'm excited about that. And should be having some cool little systems come out from our relationship, which of course I will be sharing with all you guys. But yeah, Ty, that's the biggest regret I would say I'd have, and then besides that, that's about it. Even though, I mean, I go without water changes, but it is nice to have a little freshy fresh in there for the plants and the fish every now and then. I wouldn't do big water changes. I would only have it do small water changes infrequently. Like maybe 10% every 2 days or something is how I would do that. I hope that helps, and thank you so much for the awesome support, Ty. How long do shrimp release eggs? Our Blue Dream moms been at it all day? To be honest, I've never really paid attention. I don't really know. It's a good question. But interesting that the Blue Dreams mom's been at it all day. If anybody in the chat knows, I have never actually looked that up or anything. I'm sorry if I'm missing any of your guys' questions. As always, I do my best to try to get to them all. Carol Cox says, do you buy your rocks or were they in your yard? So sometimes I buy them. Oh, those big rocks? Oh yeah, definitely bought those for sure. I live in the middle of a suburb that's just on a 1/4 acre, so we don't have a whole lot of raw material around here. It's Ozark Mountain Stone is what I ended up buying, which was awesome because I got it at contractor price too. C Million says, put some local lake sand mixed with blasting sand in a new tank. Water is murky, more so than my dirted tanks when first set up. Thoughts? So dilution's the solution when it comes to that kind of stuff. If you don't have fish in there already, or if you do have fish in there already, take them out and then just keep rinsing that water out. Keep some of that aquarium water or that biological beneficial bacteria from your filter if you have one, or from a sponge or substrate or something. That way you can reseed it if need be, if you don't have another tank. But yeah, just keep rinsing it out. That kind of stuff just happens. It's probably all the old beneficial bacteria from the old lake sand, especially if you got it wet. I mean, you might not even need to rinse it. It might just need to settle. I don't know how long it's been in there. Sometimes even if you just wait overnight, that stuff will settle. So it could just be the disturbance. Keith in Maine 72 says, a couple of my fire red shrimp have suddenly developed a lighter color straight down their backs. They were red, red, red prior to. Anyone know what that is? Is it just shrimp getting ready to molt? So, I don't know. Those fire reds are kind of weird sometimes. I know that they will camouflage against the lighter substrate over time. So, I keep mine on dark substrate. It kind of keeps them more bright red. And then whenever I put them on a lighter substrate, they'll try to blend into it. But if that's not the case, There might be something to the whole molt idea on, especially the males. It seems like the males go through phases where they'll be less colorful than usual. Not so much the females, but definitely the males, I notice it. Or if they're just stressed in general. Just build an island in your pond. There you go, Joel. Moonstone says, I kind of prefer the manual water changes so far over the Python. I do too. And the big reason why why I do prefer manual removal over, like, say, your automatic water changing is the fact that you're forced to get into your tanks. So you're going to get in there, you're going to mess with the plants that need to be messed with, you're going to deal with what needs to be dealt with in there. If it's just changing the water itself, the odds of you getting into that tank, unless you're like selling something, depending on how many tanks you have too. With me, since I have hundreds of them, it would be a lot different. But since I have to manually do my water changes, that means I have to get into my aquariums. That sends me through them. And I absolutely love when I go through my maintenance. When I'm able to go through my maintenance and do things with my aquariums, I mean, I enjoy it. It's my type of meditation. Some people need to sit in a dark room and do absolutely nothing to meditate. For me, to just, I mean, that's all part of it. It's just good gung fu, I should say. Glad to hear it, New England Inler. Glad all your shrimp are doing good. Brad, favorite YouTuber by far. I love the ecosystem, no filter thing. How do I know if my tank is okay to start taking away the filter? So as far as these tanks, I just took them away. If you have bigger fish, it's a little harder because they do produce bigger waste. So do think about that. With the smaller fish, it's much easier to do. And that also depends on your water volume. But if you've got a mature tank, beneficial bacteria in there, I've even done it with new tanks. I've taken, well, when I do the shows and I'll set up a brand new tank just from scratch, I'll take some cycled water, some dirty mulm from the dirty sponge or something, set that tank up, squeeze that mulm in there, and wait like maybe a couple hours. And then after that, I've got a tank that I'll just throw my fish in and they're happy and healthy and no filter. So, I mean, you can start it right off the bat. It's just you got to make sure that your water is cycled that's within that aquarium. So if you're already running it, I mean, sounds like you know all about that. But yeah, it really doesn't take any magic tricks. A lot of people thinks it takes like, oh, you got to have this like crazy wisdom guru bull crap, and it's really just Mother Nature doing her thing. It's not too hard. A lot of it's just having faith in it too. Let's see, I Am Sugar Hill says, hey Lucas, I have hair algae in my Blue Dream tank. If I add some scuds to eat the hair algae, will they affect the shrimp? By the way, the Blue Dreams I got from you are doing great. So I have kept scuds and shrimp together. They can coexist. The only thing is they will compete for food. They will definitely eat your algae, hair algae for sure. Maybe get a couple of amanas. They may help you more than those scuds will. Which some amanas, if they're hungry enough, they can eat a few shrimp. So if you only had a couple, I don't think it would make too big of a difference. If you had a ton of them, it may make a difference for the Neos. But the only problem with keeping the shrimp and the scuds together is if later down the road you want to separate them, it's really, really hard to separate them out because scuds are just like shrimp. So anything you would need to kill a scud is the same thing you would need to kill a shrimp or to get rid of them. And those scuds they'll dig down into the gravel and they're really hard to get out all the way. So that's really up to you. Now they do make great food for fish as well, so it's a great food source. I need to get some more scuds myself. I wish I still had some. I freed my fish room of them just because it'd make it easier, but I do kind of miss them. because they really were great food for my fish. And holy cow, Dana Harris, my brother, throwing down the $49.99. Hey, brother, peace. Well, peace to you, Dana. Wow. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. I hope those goldie-eyed Akai are doing good for you and your rowdy rainbows have settled down. But wow, that is awesome. Thank you, thank you. Let's see, Dana Harris with the $1.99 super chat as well, throwing down the number 50. That is awesome. Blake Pruitt, have you ever used dry coral rock in a guppy tank? Would that be a bad idea? I don't know. I don't think so. Because they can deal with a little bit of that salinity that may come in from that coral rock, and the hardness is definitely not going to hurt them. Fish Mafia says, having a hard time hatching fry from my clown killie eggs. Any tips on techniques and incubation time frame? So I don't know the incubation time frame. I do know many just breed them out within the aquarium. And I do not know the time frame or how they really do it. When it comes up to me, when it comes to eggs and hatching them, I usually just throw them in a dirty tank and let Mother Nature do her thing. But if anybody else has any tips for them in the chat, please help out Fish Mafia if you have experience with clown killies. Lucas, are you going to come to Tennessee to AquaCon? I have not heard of AquaCon. Or wait, I think Haley maybe mentioned something about AquaCon. I don't know much about it. If you get me some more info, I can give you a better answer. It's been a while since I've been down in Tennessee. Am I Jewish? Nope, I am not. Fish Shrimp by Rich. What would add to 55-gallon planted? You know, you're not the first person that asked me that either. And I think it's the curly hair here. It's kind of funny. Oh my. I think I just read that. Did I read that right? Ty Horton, thank you so much for the $10 super chat, you guys. Staying awesome. Let's see. My LFS says they want a local Corydoras breeder. What's your biggest advice for breeding Corydoras? So I got this video from Jerry Jost's place, the Castle Corys. I would say the biggest advice would be to get in contact with Jerry Jost. Jost is his last name. He's like one of the best breeders out there. Eric Bodrock's a really good Corydoras breeder. Sometimes it takes triggers, and it depends on the Cory cat. So there's a lot of variables to that answer. But most of the time, big water changes, big cold water changes tend to trigger them. And when you keep it more towards the neutral area as far as pH and acidity, will help when breeding those. Ty Hunsicker says cold water changes and worms. Yes, fresh live food, especially blackworms, can help a lot. But thank you so much for the support. And Danny Ken Aquatics, my brother Ken, hope you and Danny are doing great. Says Lucas, get out of the top chat. Sarah says, oh yeah, you're right. Oops, I'm always stuck in that. I've been getting better about remembering, then I forget. It's the way she goes. I'm getting old. You guys know I just had a birthday. Blake Pruitt, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Says thanks for the info, brother. Well, thank you for the support, brother. I appreciate you. And glad I could help. That's what I'm here for. Stephen N says, purchase one of your tapestry. Looks so good in the fish room. I can stare at it for hours and constantly find new stuff. Great work. Thank you for purchasing that. That's awesome. And I love that piece of artwork. And hopefully I get another piece going. Alexander Williamson of The Secret History Living in Your Aquarium actually made that for me. And I always like those like hide and seek pictures where you like stare into them and then just something keeps popping out the more you look at it. I think those are always the coolest pieces. Thank you for the support and for buying that. I'm glad you enjoy it. I got one in my, or it's a towel, big towel on my door I really enjoy. Danielle Partridge, setting up a new 10-gallon for my new shrimp. How do you move shrimp? Tips. So I just use a net and then a deli cup. Usually I have one around here. Deli cup's just like a small little plastic cup, and I'll just net them up. I usually will feed them over into one side of the aquarium so they just go over to there. And I don't just go sweeping down and trying to catch them real fast. What you want to do is you go in slow, just kind of gracefully go behind them, and then pin them up into the corner in glass, and it's really easy to catch them. And then if you want to be selective about the shrimp that you want to move, then what I'll take beyond that is I'll get them in my net, and then I'll get like a little measuring spoon cup, like a teaspoon or something, and then I'll just grab the ones I want that way. I hope that helps you. But yeah, going in slow, that's the biggest trick. If you go in too fast, they'll freak out. Keith in Main 72 says, wait for the drop in barometric pressure, then do cold water change for the Corydoras. Yes, I heard that can help a lot too. So whenever a storm's starting to roll in, then hit them with that cold water change, especially if it's towards the neutral area. Should hit real well. Do you need molly fish? I don't know. Do you need molly fish? I have a molly fish. I mean, really, that's all into the beholder of the keeper, right? As if you want it. Chubs Aquatics, I finally shut down my Aqua Clear 110 on my 75-gallon planted tank, and it's going a lot better. Thank you for the good advice. Well, I'm glad I could help you. So yeah, with the no filter tanks, it often does help a lot of the situations that we go through in our aquariums, because our plants, for some reason, if they have to fight a current a lot, unless it's like a swaying wind that is just barely going, which is ideal for plants, if they actually just prefer that still water. Same with fish, because they don't have to struggle, especially if it's a big filter on a smaller tank. But Aqua Clear 110 on a 75 is pretty, I would say that's about a normal flow for what most people will run, which is kind of heavy. That's, I mean, they'll push. Those 110s will push some water. Andy M says, RCS breeding out of control. How many can I grow out in a 5-gallon? At least a few hundred for sure, if you feed them enough. If you keep feeding them, they'll keep going. But I mean, once they're kind of like snails too. So once they hit their big boom, population boom, they'll kind of find their space, and then they'll start leveling themselves out. I got some molly fish to sell, Finn, $2 each. I do like self-in mollies, those are nice. Mickey M says, hi Lucas and Fish Fam, I have soft water here I live, but what is your recommendation for lowering pH for all the pisto nerds in the US within the high hardness plus pH? LRB Aquatics Hoarder. So if you got an airline, automatically that's going to raise your pH. So you're going to want to get rid of your pH. No airline. Your pistos will be great with that. That's automatically going to help you lower that hardness. Now with the high hardness within your water, as far as bicarbonates and calcium, it's really hard to get around making that soft, just for the fact that it has to be broken down by acidity. So you can use certain things like botanicals, sphagnum moss, leaves and whatnot, which will help create acidities within that aquarium to help lower it, but it's going to take time to lower that. So the only way to really get around that is to probably catch some rainwater. That way you're starting with a more neutral based water, and then add your leaves and sphagnum moss. Sphagnum moss will lower it a lot faster and quicker than leaves will. And be careful about lowering it too fast with your fish in there, because sometimes that can mess with them. But yeah, if you have more of a neutral, balanced water to start with, it makes it a lot easier to get that pH down. Yeah, when you just got that natural hardness in your water, it's so tough to battle that. There's really not much you can do. Like, it would take a lot of time to add a lot of acidity to break down really hard water, which I have. I know all this from experience. You know, I've tried to wrap my head around everything on that. Igor Anonymous throwing down a $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Igor, again for the support. Said no questions tonight. Well, I appreciate the support and you coming out and still hopping on here. And let me know if you got one. And Andy M, thank you so much for the support and the $5 super chat as well. Saying thank you. Well, thank you back at you. You guys are awesome. Like, seriously. All of you. I mean, I feel lucky that I'm able to share all this stuff with you. It would have been such a shame if I would have just been in here in my fish room doing all this stuff and not actually be able to share it with you guys. So I'm just happy to be here, and your guys' support helps it keep going and growing, which has been absolutely amazing. So thank you. Thomas Glazier, glad to see you in here too, brother. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat, throwing up the peace. Peace to you too, homie. Glad to see you in here. Lisa NJ says, do you have issues with your red-tailed Dumbo strain eating fry, even with lots of plants in hiding places? I have one female who hunts down fry. So just like all fish, you'll have some fish that have certain personalities that are different than the rest of your fish. I mean, we all kind of think of fish as, oh, they're the same as one another if they're the same species, but they, as us humans, all have different personalities and traits as well. So I don't have a whole lot of issues with it. Now, my albinos are notorious for it, but again, that could just have been those pairs. So what I would recommend is making sure that you have good coverage on the top and bottom of your guppy tank, because what happens is the guppy fry and adults will sleep on the bottom at night, and then the females will tend to catch them during that situation. And then during the day, they'll all be up towards the top and mid-water. So if your fry are all swimming around, they don't have nowhere to hide up there, then she will also get to them. So you can either do that, or you can just pull them out and put them in another tank and grow them out. I hope that can help you. And the Chubby Guppy, thank you, my brother, throwing down a $10 super chat. Thank you, Chubby Guppy. Throwing up the hippo. Awesome. Glad to see you in here, too. Hope you had a good birthday. I am Sugar Hill. And once again, sorry if I'm missing your questions. Oh, Straightwise, here we go. I'll get to you, too. I am Sugar Hill in a second. You helped show me that low-tech organic soil tanks are so viable. Yeah, okay, that wasn't a question. I am Sugar Hill says, what's a good snail eater that's good in a Hillstream loach tank? A pygmy chain loach, probably. I don't know if you're trying to braid the Hillstreams, though, but if you don't mind other loaches, Coulee loaches, Hillstream loaches, those are pretty nice. Those would be alright with Hillstreams. Ty Hunsicker says, your cats would know a whole lot more about fish if we weren't here, LOL. That's hilarious. Just be sitting here talking to my cats like, did you know this? Oh, that's funny. Paul C says, warmer water into tank, do you need to temperature match? So, if possible, temperature match, because that temperature swing can cause things. It can even mess with your plants too. Like your plants are really susceptible to quick water changes, like that temp change. It's not the end of the world, like if it's just that one time, but if it's like constant all the time, and if you're way off of it, then you need to try your best to bring it back real fast. But it is best to temperature match. Well, you're welcome, Chubbs Aquatics. Glad to see you in here, Twin Does Fish. Scrolling. Twin Does Fish says, what can I put in a 10-gallon with a betta? Hillstream loaches, those could work. Let's see, what else can you do? You can do little rasboras, like the little chili rasboras, kobatais, brilliant rasboras probably, pygmy, Corys. Jeez, I got ants on me. Probably do some clown killies. What else? You can do all kinds of stuff. All little stuff. Things that won't fit in each other's mouths. And things that don't nip. I would say tetras, because some tetras are great for it, but some tetras aren't. And that can just be within the personality, not so much the species of the fish. But like cardinals, I mean, they're always pretty calm. Same with neon tetras. You probably get away with it. And same with the betta fish. A lot of times it all depends on their personality too. William Booth, can Corys get fat? My bronze are like marbles, while my salt and peppers are normal looking. Feed them about the same amount with the same food. So the females definitely can get chunky. They get some weight on them. So maybe that's the case. The males will stay real small and they'll look normal, but the females, they'll get huge. Miguel Ortiz says, any recommendations for detritus worms? Should I add salt to water? I have convex cichlids. If they're just detritus worms, there's nothing wrong with detritus worms. I would not be trying to battle detritus worms. If anything, I would promote your detritus worms, because they will take care of all the junk that lives in your substrate in your aquarium, and they're not harmful to fish. Answered that. Greg Van Fleet says, any tips for keeping angelfish from eating their eggs? I think we had this question last week. I haven't really, I mean, I know they make like little mesh guards. So if they already laid the eggs, you can put like a mesh guard over it. I've seen people do that with discus. Or you can just remove the adults or remove the eggs, depending on where they bred them out. Or if you just wanted to try to do it the old natural way and keep giving them a chance, because often their first parental time, or first couple, they don't have it quite figured out how to do it and end up eating their eggs. But I'm definitely not a pro angelfish breeder. So if anybody else has more tips that I have missed there, please help old Greg out. Jason Wasco, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Appreciate you, Jason. Says, seed shrimp populating in a cherry shrimp 20 high. Could they cause any issues? So I've had this happen very often, and usually due to overfeeding, excess of food, lack of water changes. Water changes can help with that a little bit. Sometimes they'll just find their natural population as well. Sometimes they can be eaten off of decaying material, plant material, stuff like that. It's not really harmful to them. They can compete for food a little bit, but not to the point like those shrimp can easily throw those things around. So the shrimp can still get to their food. So the way I usually get rid of it is I'll put like one inler in there or like one tiny little fish in there just to kind of nibble on them all day. And then once I start seeing a lot of those dissipate, then I'll take that little fish out before he starts snacking on shrimp. But I also provide nice hides like rock piles and stuff for my shrimp too in my tank, so that helps me get away with that. So I hope that helps, and thank you so much for the support. Chris Trapp says, any tips for caring for rainbow fish? I'm getting Melanitania parva next week. So when it comes to rainbow fish, super easy fish to keep. They really do not care as far as pH, hardness, acidity, all that stuff. As long as you're getting a good source of them and they're healthy, they should be good. The temperature wise, as long as you're keeping them 68 to 90 degrees, which I keep mine towards the 70s, mid 70s, then they're all happy. Right now, most of them are sitting in the 80s though, because it's like 83 degrees in here. And I've actually got some parva in that tank right there. And as far as feeding them, I feed mine Tetracolor Tropical Granules. As far as breeding them, pretty easy. There are a couple like Rada something, I can't remember. Rad ornatus. That's about the only rainbow fish that I know that does prefer soft water. Then like your Pseudomugule Cyanodorialis prefers a salinity type of water. Besides that, all rainbows, I mean, it's the same. Super easy. That's why you don't see me make a species video, which I should, about caring for like this type, this type, this type, because for the most part with them, it's all the same. It just feels really repetitive to me. Do you have any Melanitania pygmaea? I've got a couple floating around here. Do you have any Neocaridina shrimp breeding tips? So, best thing to do, give them nice hard water, lots of surface area. More surface area you can give them, the more they'll breed out. Rock piles help because you can create nurseries for them. And just feed them really well. And don't do lots of water changes. Which I know is the opposite of what most people say as far as with keeping fish, but they do like that dirty aquarium. Do you have any Dawkinsia fry? I don't have any fry at the moment. The fry that I did have, they're all grown up and in the 240 right now. And once again, sorry if I'm missing your guys' questions. New Mexico Aquatics says, I'm like scrolling all over the place here. How many amanas might you keep in a 29-gallon Iwagumi? So I would say 29 gallons. You could probably get away with 20. Really, you could get away with more than that. It's just how much do you really want to feed them? Because those things love to eat. Oh, really cool. Sharon Miller says her albino galaxy guppies are breeding like crazy. There is a female with an odd tail. One end of her tail is a long ribbon. Very interesting. Really pretty. I wonder if that's like a Geisen thread. There are these Geisen types of fins that guppies can get that fan out like that, which is really neat. And for the albino galaxy guppies, I haven't seen them do that, so that's really cool. Alright, I'm going to get back to the bottom here. That way I am caught up on chat, because I know I'm way behind here. Way behind. Okay, I'm at the bottom. So, Whenever happened to your goldie-eyed kai? Not sure on spelling. I still have them. I actually have a breeding group right up here. Believe it or not. Oh, hey guys. Little trio going. See the male, not real turned on. The color, well, it doesn't help that the glass is real dirty too. I've got to top off these tanks. This is why I'm not showing them much. That too, and I'm tired. Oh, fishies. I love fish. Fish, fish, fish. Orange shrimp. See, y'all sleeping on these orange shrimp. I don't even know how many is on the site right now though. It's been like a couple weeks since I've upgraded that, which I'll get to soon. No, actually, little frog, I don't. I stay away from that. Alright, so if you got a question, I'm at the bottom. Throw it on out there. Michael L. says, thinking of getting some zebra bobalti shrimp. They say they're similar to Neos in terms of parameters and are hardy. Is this true? Also, any recommended sellers? So I've never actually had luck with them. I don't know. I've never had luck with them. I've had multiple types of bobaltis, but that was also at the time where it was really hard to find any straight information on shrimp because nobody would actually give you a straight answer, and half the time they'd tell you the opposite. So it was always a guessing game. So I haven't tried them recently. And if they are similar to Neos, I never had luck with them, and I got hard water, and my Neos do great. If anybody else has experience out there, I would love to hear it too in the chat. That is awesome, Simply Better. Hope you enjoy that outside pond. And it's going to open a whole new world for you. Whole new world. Yes, they do, little frog. Oh my, he must be bored. Miguel Ortiz, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Says, thank you for all the amazing advice. Well, I'm glad I could help you, Miguel. And I appreciate your awesome support. Thank you so much. Thank you. Favorite substrate is sand for sure. Sand grows plants better than any other, in my opinion. Just the way the roots can get into the sand, it's a good combination. Shrimp sexing tips. So when it comes to sexing them, sometimes it can be hard to tell when they're real young. Caridinias, it's a lot easier. Neos, it can be tougher when they're younger. But the females will have what is called a skirt. So on their back half, it'll be more skirted down. And then a male will be more straight. So almost looks like they're wearing a skirt, and that's what they call it. Simply Better says, my dwarf water lettuce has been turning gray and withering away when I put it outside. Any thoughts why it's not over 80 degrees outside? So if it's getting air on it, if you got any kind of bubbler or air splashing up on it, that could be a problem. Besides that, maybe too much. I don't know. That's about the only thing I can think of, is it's just getting water on top of it, because it can get drowned, which is weird. Because it usually grows in slow, still lakes and ponds and stuff. It doesn't really care for current. Do you sell double sword tail female endlers? I sell the pairs. I don't really split them. And I'm really low on the females too, so I can't really do that one. But if you do buy a pair, you would get one. Christopher Williams says, hey LRB, ordered random Endler male a month ago and assumed expectations. He's thriving. Well, awesome. Let's see, HC Aqua. Oh, wait, that's it. Have you ever kept Opteron species? I don't even know what those are. What in the world? Diapteron. I don't know. I'm gonna have to Google that one for sure. Give me 1 second, because now I'm curious. Anytime I see something I ain't never heard of, I always gotta hit Google. I was taught that when I was little. I think my parents taught me that because they got tired of me asking questions. If you really want to know, oh wow, beautiful. So that's a Emphysema and fungens, which and a few other types looks like emphysemian types of Achilles or I haven't even heard that. Like them actually, is that a new name they're coming out with? That is the first time I've ever heard that name out of all the Achilles conventions and other things I've been to. They must be doing something with the names. I know they've been doing a lot with the killifish names lately. But I have kept quite a few of these types of fish. Absolutely beautiful though. Let me flip you guys around so you guys know what the heck I'm talking about. So this is what he's talking about, what he put up there. And see, Emphysemian Opteron. Weird. I've never heard of them that. That is old gardener. Near I name, not heard of name change. Okay. Interesting, interesting. I have never, ever heard of those. See, that's the great thing about this hobby, man. As soon as you think you know, like all there is about to do Achilles or this or that. There's always something there to surprise you. Do you have members only content? At the moment, I do not do anything for my members only content. It's really hard for me to just keep up with here. And it's hard for me to keep up with that kind of stuff, unfortunately. What type of Achilles is needed info? Oh, wait. Wrong one. What tips for gold barbs? I've seen some of yours photobombing. Oh, yeah, over here you can kind of barely see them over that underlayment. As far as them, they're pretty hardy, but like most barbs. Soft water, hard water, they don't really care. And they do like groups. They definitely, barbs are always social, so keep that in mind. Those are the ones he's talking about. Those guys got big, so live food definitely helps with the size of them. Let's see. Once again, sorry if I'm missing your questions. Let's see. Are feeder guppies similar to wild caught guppies? Yes and no, all at once, because they were probably a wild guppy at some point, just bred for all kinds of other reasons, but now they're just mostly domesticated, bred out, and originally they were. Let's see. And I am all over the place on this chat. Do you run any plant fertilizers? So recently I've been going without my fertilizers for a long time. Just because I was getting a lot of algae. I was getting a lot of excess nutrients. I haven't been doing my water changes, so I like really slowed down on my fertilizers. And it has taken an effect on my plants to the point that I started fertilizing again this not last week, but the week before, maybe. And it makes a big difference on certain stem plants, and other plants like Reishi makes a big difference with its health. And then like my stem plants, for instance, all this Luigia, or no, this is Lymphnophilia aromatica right there. Like it was all about to disappear, but ever since I started dosing again, it all started coming back. I mean, just that little bit of dosing. Same with some of my Luigias, which I've got hard water, lots of minerals in here. I think it's the iron that I lack in my water. But I don't know, I could be wrong about that. Oh, rolly chairs are convenient. How is Wesley's tanks doing? I need to do an update on that tank for you guys here, hopefully this week. I need to do an update on my 2017 Aquascape tank, the only one that I have a filter on, my Newt tank, and Wesley's tank for you guys here real soon. But it's actually doing really good. And it's kind of set up different than other tanks are. Right now my fish room just looks so unclean, which I don't really have a big problem with. I know some of you guys do. My fish don't care. But I would like to clean it up a little bit. So I'm like hesitant showing you guys too much. As you guys know me, so I'll show you a dirty tank. Anyways, I'm rambling now. Let's see. I saw somewhere Mickey M was talking about these. Oh, there we go. Opteron preferred cold water called Emphysema in the US for many years, but Opteron in Europe for 10 to 15 years. Oh, very interesting, Mickey. Thank you for clarifying that. He says, I have the Seeger's Eye. Very interesting. I don't think I've ever seen the Seeger's Eye. What size tank is that? If you're talking about this one down there, that was a 125. Talking about that one, that's a 20 gallon. Man, I gotta get that filled in. It just looks so weird with that, just nothing being there now. Opteron are smaller than common amphysemians. There are 4 to 5 species of Opteron living in colder water from highland rivers in the Gabon area. Oh, okay. Interesting. Main questions is the net still in the tank? Oh, what do you think, Candy? If you had to, well, I mean, I'm sure you already know the answer to that. And I got one in here now. Somehow that one has fell in there. So we'll get to those here someday soon. Put that on the high priority list. You know, priorities. How to deworm hill stream loaches. You could try Pan-Cure-C dog dewormer. It all depends on the worm. This is best if you can find out what kind of worm it is. I know Pan-Cure-C dog dewormer helps sometimes. Levomisol for some, like calamanus worms and stuff like that. If anybody else has any other recommendations for worm problems, feel free to throw them out there. I don't deal with them a whole lot. And Jerry Wallendahl was asking about them worms too. Everybody's got them worm problems. Bermuda Aquatics says, is there a way you could recreate a guppy strain with only a male? Possibly. You have to get a female, of course, but you can probably get the genetics through that way. Yo, LRB, you got a long hair in your beard. Where? Where? I don't see it. Chris Trapp says, have you ever thought about opening a physical store to the public? I have. And the only problem with that is that will constrain me and put me in chains. As much as I would love to have and visit with y'all, I do not want a set schedule of I gotta be up at 8 o'clock and I gotta be out by 5 and go through traffic. I won't lie, I kinda like working from home. And I like that freedom. And that's actually what helps my creativity, is my environment. So if my environment were to change more, my creativity would definitely get stifled, which then in turn would not make me as happy, and I like to try to be happy if I can. How to deworm hillstream loaches. Same way, paint your sea dog dewormer should help. Scrolling. Prazioro for flukes and flatworms. Never heard of Prazioro. No, they have that Quintental, something like that. Chubbs Aquatics says, I'm having troubles getting Scarlet Temple to grow. It looks healthy, but not growing. I use Easy Growing and root tabs. Isn't that Scarlet Temple like non-aquatic or something, if I remember right? Oops, wrong button. Uh-oh, I'm too far on my tabs here. I cannot clear out my tabs. I have too many. I don't know. You guys let me know on your guys' red temple experiences, because if I remember right, that's not really a aquatic plant. Here we go. Plom 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 plom. Is that the Reneki? That's not always what it is. Scarlet Temple. So what it's probably melting back too if it is just your regular Reneki. Then just wait for it to melt back and then it'll start growing. Probably just takes time and maybe not enough light. Well, Fluval 3.0, you should be set. Harder water, I do know it prefers softer water, so that could be a problem. It's having troubles uptaking nutrients. Craig, like Craig's all worried about that long hair in my beard. Kenny says Scarlet Temple is aquatic. Yeah, now that I see the Latin name for it. I get used to Latin names more than the domestic names here. GRB Aquatics, isn't temple plant more a bog plant that grows leaves and flowers above water? Prazi Pro, okay, that's what it was. Yeah, Siri and some of her spell checks are crazy. Like half the time she makes stuff up on my account. Scared Smithless says, how can I tell the difference between a male and a female shrimp? So female shrimps will often have the skirt on the back half and male shrimp will have more of a thinner rear end. Spell the Google name without. Yeah, I could do the Reneki part, but the Alternania or whatever, I could barely even say that. Alternantheria? Yeah, I would not have, yeah, no. Alright, well, it looks like we're well over the hour mark. I do gotta hop off here and feed these fish. It is getting late for them. But I appreciate all your guys' support. I appreciate all you guys hanging out. And thank you so much for the lovely time. And I hope you all have a great weekend. Until next time, everybody, peace. Have a great one. Sometimes you just got to peel it off like a Band-Aid, you know? Love you guys. Stay cool.